Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and if you're not, I hope I can make it a little bit better guys. Today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto Was Given Abilities by 4 Devils. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Awakened the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile over on Anime King 3. Link will be down in the description for you guys to enjoy. And I also post a brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Had a New Dream That Will Change Everything. So go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. All links will be down in the description for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto was waiting for Sasuke to show his face, as he was getting privileged just because he was a damn Uchiha, saying that if it was anyone else, he'd have been disqualified by now, as Naruto was going to prove to him when he finally arrived. Sasuke made his way there, as Kakashi also arrived there as well, as Kakashi could see that Naruto was pissed off already, was angry, just by looking in his eyes. As the match began, Sasuke tried his best, but he just couldn't stand up against the might of Naruto. Naruto blows were heavy and dangerous as he knocked Sasuke around senselessly. Sasuke absolutely didn't stand a chance as he was crushed under the weight of Naruto's Sparda. As Naruto knocked him around like he was nothing, as Sasuke got furious and angry, as nothing that he could do could keep up with Naruto anyway. It didn't matter what he did, it didn't matter how much abilities he pulled out or what. As Naruto beat him to the point where the match was called, Sasuke, if he didn't or did not know if the match was over, he still went on, as he pulsed his remaining Chakra into Shidori to kill Naruto, as Naruto turned and brutally assaulted him, as Kakashi appearing there to stop Naruto from ending Sasuke's life. As Naruto said if Sasuke was not punished for this, he would make sure to kill him himself. After all, he attacked him while the match was clearly called over. If he get any rights, just because he's a Uchiha because of this, he was going to kill him no matter what. Naruto then faced off against Gaara after the rest of the matches went off, leaving Gaara and Naruto the only one left. As the both of them fought, as Gaara transformed the ring, everyone was shocked. But to their surprise, Naruto was actually holding his own, as he managed to bring Gaara down the same way. After Gaara defeat, something came out of him and flew into Naruto, as Naruto got a new ability, as Gaara lay unconscious. The invasion then started as Naruto started to bust heads all around, defeating Son and San Shinobis, as Naruto went towards the barrier and exploded it. Teiwai was smacked violently. She was caught by Naruto because if he dropped from here unconscious, she would surely die. As Sarutobi told Naruto to take her to Ibiki, who was at the hospital at the moment, as he could get intel from her as Orochimaru, saying that everything was at a loss. He decided to flee as Jiraiya was there as well. Sarutobi and Jiraiya decided to clean up, as Naruto also summoned 2 clones, which took on his devil and light side, as he took on the Kyuubi cloak and went to clean things up. A week passed after that, as everyone was gathered. Naruto and some others got promoted to the Jonin. Kakashi was stripped of his title as their sensei, as the man has proven to be incompetent, and Sasuke was suspended. Team 7 will not be an official team until they find a replacement Jonin sensei. Sarutobi saw that he was getting old, so he gave Jiraiya and Naruto a mission to go and find Tsunade for her to become next Hokage. As they made their way, they were caught by Itachi and Kisame, but they were scared off when Jiraiya came as Sasuke had fled the village, but Guy came and took him back, as he wanted to find Itachi, seeing that Itachi came to the village first, and went through Kakashi, Kurenai, and Asuma looking for Naruto, as Sasuke had fled, even though he was on suspension, as Guy came and brought him back. They found Tsunade, as Naruto and her ended up making a bet, they were going to fight 3 days from now. Later that night, Naruto made his way towards his mindscape. Something was going on. He felt like his light and dark side were, well, trying to take over. Something was not balanced. Meanwhile, Gaara didn't hear the voice in his head anymore, as Gaara had a clear mind for the first time in ages. Seeing that they weren't going to be prosecuted by Konoha, the Hokage was still alive, as a man who wasn't going to do anything against the children that were there. Gaara now had his chance to use his power to see fit, and he could train and get stronger on his own. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what's the beginning of this new episode? Naruto walked the dark corridors of his mind, as he needed to find out what was going on, as he came upon a door. He had fought and trained with his two half earlier, but they were fighting much harder than before. It was like their power was trying to take over him or something. He pressed his hands on the door and it opened up, before it dragged him in. Inside the room was nothing but chakra. It had the similar feelings when he summoned the clones and gave them their powers. He remained still in the void. 2 figures then walked up the wall and looked towards him. The 2 figures were him. One of them had on a blue cloak and the other one a red one. They remind Naruto of Dante and Virgil before they passed on, with the light clone holding on to the rebellion and the dark clone holding on to Yamato. So what do you guys want exactly? It's obvious you're trying to get my attention. So tell me what you want, said Naruto. The dark clone stepped forward. It's something that needs to be discussed. Apparently you're reaching your first ascent stage in your demonic bloodline, and our power are converging more and more. And as you can see, that result has turned into actual personalities in your mind. It was then the other clone stepped up, continuing. And that is a problem because the 3 of us can no longer be separate and we must unite our powers as one. Wait, what happens when we do unite? Do our powers combine or something, or to ask? We don't know exactly, but I'm sure that it will combine our personalities and our transformation into one instead of 3. Naruto nodded as he stepped forward. Then let me guess, this unity has to be done by fighting, right? As the Kyuubi appeared in his hand. Of course it does, the red clone said, as all 3 of them shot forward. Time skip. 3 days later, Naruto and Jiraiya were making their way towards the meeting point, where him and Tsunade were about to fight. He felt pretty good after his battle with his light and dark clones. It was difficult, tremendously hard to win, but he still got the win over them. He now felt like his power was truly awakened, but he couldn't access the devil form after the fusion, as this battle he's gonna face is gonna be difficult. She was a Sannin after all. So, said Jiraiya, tell me, what do you plan on doing to win? Naruto took off his jacket as he rubbed his hair back as he spiked back up. I plan on doing nothing, as he summoned the fox belt and placed on his shoulder, as Jiraiya nearly tripped over himself. What? You're going up against a Sannin and you plan to do nothing at all? Naruto cracked his neck left to right. The best hope for me in this fight has already been met. I just hope it stay that long for me to win. Jiraiya looked at Naruto. He's gonna place the entire fate of Konoha on dumb luck? Then again, a 5-year-old has better luck than Tsunade, as he still has a chance to win. Jiraiya says he followed Naruto. When they finally arrived, Shizune and Tsunade were standing there waiting for them. I was a little worried you weren't going to show up, said Naruto, as he returned his belt and stood his hands in his pockets. Why wouldn't I come? I have a bet that I'm currently gonna win. Naruto snorted as he shifted his foot into a fighting stance. Don't you normally fight with swords? Why won't you use them, said Tsunade. I won't be needing them. It's been a while since I had a pure hand-to-hand fight, so I won't be using them now. Tsunade started to laugh. You really think you can beat me with hand-to-hand combat? Me, of all people? Naruto did not respond, he just stand in his stance. Tsunade smirked. Alright then, brat, she said. Bring it on, as she shifted her foot slightly. Shizune stepped away. Naruto dashed towards her. Tsunade's smirk grew wider. She raised her arm and smashed it in the ground. Creating a pillar of earth in front of Naruto, he flipped over it and pulled a kunai. He tossed it towards her. Tsunade twists and slapped the kunai away as Naruto leaped up in the air, a good portion of the Kyuubi chakra in his arm. Tsunade twisted her leg in mid-air and slammed it against his arm. Naruto felt like he was hit by a massive train as he was thrown back by the force. He flipped and landed. Even with the Kyuubi chakra reinforcing his arm, it still shook him. Meanwhile, Jiraiya and Shizune were shocked, as Naruto just took on a head-on shot from Tsunade, and he did not even face him, as he was also holding his own against a woman, which many people claim to have the strength as a million man. As Naruto charged towards Tsunade, Tsunade sent the first swing towards him as he ducked, as he lashed out towards her stomach while she pulled back, as she sent a forward strike towards his skull, but he caught her hand and flipped her over his shoulder. She flipped in mid-air and brought down her leg, but he moved as he cracked the ground where he stood. Naruto started forming a Rasengan, but he had to leap away as she slammed her fist once again, breaking the earth. Naruto then pushed off the ground as he aimed a spinning kick towards her. She grabbed his leg as she smirked. She twisted him and brought him down. But at the last moment, Naruto slammed his hand into the earth, used it as leverage, and yanked himself away from her. As he pushed himself away and landed back on his feet, he only had a moment to catch his breath as she charged towards him like a bull who just saw red. She lashed her fist towards his face as Naruto raised his hand like he was holding onto an orb. The fist faded as Naruto was gone. It didn't touch him. As he appeared behind her with speed, she twisted her leg around, but Naruto ducked under it as he lashed her with a backhand, hitting her right in the chest. Naruto leaped and brought his foot up. She brought her hands as Naruto's feet connected with it as she was pushed back. As he rushed back towards her, she lashed with a fist, but instead of dodging, Naruto made it connect. As he winced a bit, but he still continued the motion as he grabbed her extended arm with his left, as he jumped in the air, flipping her with him. Tsunade eyes widened when Naruto suddenly twists as he wrapped one leg around her arm, as he wrapped his arm around her neck and held her. As she dropped, as Naruto held her in a submission hold, Jiraiya and Shizune were shocked. Someone had actually managed to subdue Tsunade in a maneuver that was very, terribly hard to execute. It was a hard move to execute, but it was a great move to get the job done. "So, do you surrender?" said Naruto, as he tightened his grip around her arm so she couldn't move to grab his vest. He had to say he hated the idea of hurting a woman like this, but it was the only way to make her come to her senses and come back with them. "No," said Tsunade. "I'm never going back to that place. That stole everything from me. I won't lose." As she started to pull her arm out of his grip, Naruto felt her struggling as he tightened the hold. But he felt her chakra surging as she started to apply more strength in her arm. As he tightened his grip, her entire body started to shake with power. Even her hair started to float a bit. As she was getting stronger by the second, Naruto quickly called the Kyuubi's chakra to increase his muscle strength. As the green aura surrounded Tsunade as her power was rising, Naruto quickly brought out the full tail, but the chakra burned Tsunade where he held her down, as his body was now in the cloak. Tsunade hissed at the pain, but she was currently doing all she can to win this, as her power started to increase, as her chakra was behaving wild, like she was literally opening the gates. Knowing that holding her like this would cause more damage, Naruto leaped away. Tsunade immediately stood back up. As Naruto waited for her next move, she vanished out of sight and appeared in front of him, her arm caught back already. "Oh crap," said Naruto as a fist smashed into his face. His body was lifted off the ground and sent sailing. He slammed several times on the ground hard before finally coming to a stop in a deep trench. He pulled himself out only to fall back down because of the pain. Jiraiya cringed at his godson taking a strike that only he could take and live to tell about it. He was sure that was the hardest hit Tsunade has ever given to anyone in a very long time. He was seriously hoping that Naruto wasn't too badly injured. As Tsunade felt pain run through her, flinging her chakra like that with him holding on to her in the burns. Pushing the chakra like that was like an effect of opening the gates. As she strained her chakra coils, she activated the diamond seal on her forehead to heal her body. "Looks like I win, brat. You did good, but you just weren't good enough." But then Tsunade felt it, a burst of chakra. As the Kyuubi's chakra started to leak from Naruto, he got back up this time. There was two tails behind him. As Tsunade's chakra coils were stretching thin, with her forcing her chakra out in this state, a version of the six gates, already breaking through the others while trying to break out of Naruto's hole. She knew that Naruto had a tail beast, but unlike Jiraiya or Orochimaru, she had no idea how to, seal off that portion of chakra from him. She was caught completely off guard when he was gone. She wheezed as a fist planted in her stomach, only for her to look down. Her feet was lifted off the ground by Naruto's in front of her, as she was thrown through the air by a tremendous force. He has gotten so much faster and stronger. She flipped and landed as she skidded a while before coming to a complete stop. She looked up as he was already there, sending a spin kick towards her skull. She grabbed his leg and slammed him on the ground, but he placed her arm down to absorb the impact as he slammed his other feet into her chin, knocking her head up as he twists as she had released her grip, as he slammed his fist into her gut. She felt the wind leave her guts once again, as Naruto backhanded her away as she crashed. She got up as she had to crank it up to the 7th gate to take him out in the next move, but Naruto unleashed the third tail. She was shocked by the output of the power the boy was releasing, as she realized she couldn't win. As the ground was breaking under his foot, as windstorms started to create around the boy as he stood there, his tails flashing around menacingly. As he started to gather power towards his fists, Tsunade gathered her power as well. She charged towards him as he did the same. The two of them slammed their fists in each other's faces. Tsunade found her body blown back as she crashed into the ground. As Naruto stood in place, but his forehead was leaking blood, as he felt a tremor went through his body as he dropped to one knee, as he coughed up blood. The wound in his forehead healed, as Shizune rushed over to see if her master was okay. What greeted them was Tsunade there, crying. She really didn't want to go back. As Naruto made his way over, "Why won't you stop running from your past, Tsunade? Come back to Konoha where they truly need you." She shook her head as the tears kept on flowing. "No, I won't go back there, back to that place. It took everything from me." Naruto slowly approached her, still in pain, as he placed a hand on her shoulder. "I know the feeling of losing everything you care for, and I can also understand the feeling of losing a loved one. But if you are so selfish to let others feel the same pain that you went through, even if you could help, could you really live with yourself? You can save so many lives by coming back to the village and beat your inner demons, but you have to let your problems go." Tsunade looked up at him as she slowly got to her feet, as she deactivated her gates, and also the seal on her forehead retracted, as she fell to one knee, feeling the mental and physical exhaustion as Shizune rushed over, as she felt her muscles wince. Tsunade got back to her feet as Shizune helped her along. Jiraiya came over. "That was quite the fight, kid. Even though I won, do you think she should come back?" said Naruto. "Because even if we force her, she still don't have to work or help anyone." "Yeah, I know," said Jiraiya. "But it's hard to tell. She has been away from Konoha for many years now. She's probably thinking what to do." As Naruto was walking beside him, Jiraiya glanced towards him. He knew that the kid was in a lot of pain, but he was hiding it well. "I hope she makes up her mind soon, because after all, I won the bet," said Naruto with a smirk. Elsewhere, unknown location, Sodiki, Kazuma, Naruto's great ancestor, walk along the demon world, searching for a weapon that he knew would come in handy. The weapon was missing for a full 2 millennia. It was hidden in a strange place. He was glad he took out those people after his descendants. They were problems. That group with the black cloaks with the red clouds on them, one of them being a full immortal. And then came the shocker, Mother Uchiha was still alive. He was the hardest one to kill, as his damn space-time ninjutsu was getting away, but he still did it nonetheless. But there were still 3 of them. Well, they weren't a problem now. At least he dealt with the A.G.E. Yes, they won't be a problem. As he was looking for the weapon, that weapon was important for his goals. A weapon of demonic power and strength that would make someone 10 times stronger the moment they touch it. Sadly, the man that wielded it was too weak-minded and foolish to fully grasp and control it, and he sealed away in the demon world. As he felt the power as he went towards the shrine, Romans, style of carving, he raised his right arm, as black wings made from shadows lifted him, so he didn't have to walk up the stairs. He landed in front of the weapon and threw the morph at the weapon. A Zambedo light blade with a large red jewel and glow radiant with the demonic energy flowing through it. He grabbed the handle and he felt demonic power pour through his veins like water. He pulled the sword out of the slab that it was sealed on and placed on his back. Purple energy exploded out of his body. "Yes, this is it," he said with a mad chuckle. "My power is back," he yelled on top of his lungs. The one weapon that was used to end the war between humans and demons 4,000 years ago, and it was used to reseal the Demon King, Mundus. This sword was the personal weapon of the Dark Knight Spotter, the Force Edge, as he smirked to himself. Time skip, as Naruto was currently sitting down in a meditating position. Several days has passed since he won the fight, and Tsunade had yet to show up. She hadn't left the village, but she had yet to show up, considering his bet. She really needed to get over herself and get back to the village. Even if it brought back up those memories, she needed to face them. If you never face their memories, how do you ever get over them? You don't have to let them go. You just have to accept them. It's not like she could escape Naruto, as he could, well, track her scent, so that wasn't a problem. He was currently trying a new method of control for both his chakra and his Rasengan technique. The process would bring in 2 Rasengan in his hands, both supplied with equal amount of chakra, but one rotating clockwise and the other rotating counterclockwise motion. This will help him in more control of his chakra and help him create more sick Rasengan techniques. But it was far said easier than done. The first time he did this, the thing exploded. If it wasn't for his healing, well, ability, his arm would have been lost. This has happened multiple times so far. Look that he had an amazing healing ability, but he had to keep on doing this to get stronger in the ninjutsu world when it comes to mastering his chakra so he can do other amazing things. His thoughts on the matter was interrupted as Shizune was coming. What is it that you wish to discuss with me, Shizune-san? Shizune didn't bother getting that as, well, he had heightened senses and she knew that. Well, there is something I want to talk to you about. He had a feeling that he already knew what she wanted to talk about as he released her Rasengan. It depends on what the subject is. It's about your bet with Tsunade-sama. That necklace has brought nothing but pain and misery to Tsunade after both her brother and fiance died while wearing it. If you get the necklace, it will only result in your death. Naruto snorted. Listen, Shizune-san, I can understand the pain of losing a loved one, but in the end, what does that compare to? I know several people that went through crap that was 10 times harder than what she went through, myself included. In fact, one of my girlfriends had to kill her own father after watching him kill her own mother in front of her eyes, then lose another person that was very dear to her later on in life. My best friend had to go through so much hardship in his career because he couldn't use chakra and he was mocked because of it. I got stories that are even worse than those too. So ask yourself something. What makes Tsunade's problem worse than anyone else? What makes her problems worse than the hell I had to endure growing up? Naruto said to Shizune, unable to answer him. He was right. What makes Tsunade's problem so special? Rumors are in Kumo, the current Raikage tried to use a Nibe vessel as a sex slave. It was said that before he had the chance to do so, the Nibe retaliated and obliterated the man's left hand and escaped to a foreign land. It was said that the Seven Tails was hunted by her best friends and comrades after news about her demon was released over Take, and she had to kill them all and escape as well. Many more sad stories were heard, and some of them were even worse than Jinchurikis. She thanked him for his time and left. When Naruto going back to his training, Tsunade was watching behind a tree as she heard what he said. As she made her way off, apparently she needed to answer her terms of the fight and soon. Elsewhere, Konoha Hospital, Sakura was by Sasuke's bed. Team 7 was no longer a team as Kakashi was no longer their sensei. Sasuke was currently surrendered after what he did, and Naruto was promoted to Elite Jonin. To make matters worse, she was on the same team as that girl she fought in the Chunin exam preliminaries. After that defeat by the girl, Hans, in preliminaries, Naruto warned her hitting her hard that she was a true weakling. She was brought out of her thoughts when another entered the room. She saw it was Ino bringing a vase with fresh flowers as she placed it down. Ino smiled, but Sakura didn't smile back. What's wrong, forehead girl? Why so gloomy? Ino asked. Well, suppose you haven't heard. My team has been disbanded. Ino gasped in surprise. Oh, so that is what news was about. I heard that Naruto was promoted to Elite Jonin and out of the village. I never knew your team got disbanded. Things have really changed, haven't they? I mean, Naruto used to be all over you. What changed that? Well, I couldn't tell you why anymore. Everything is really changing. One day I have a team and now we're all separated. Why? Did this have to happen? We're supposed to become friends. But all that happened is that we became more separate than before. Kakashi Sensei is no longer my sensei. Sasuke has been suspended. And Naruto is at Jonin now. And I'm on a whole different team now. As she felt tears running her cheeks going down. Ino walked over and started to rub her back. Why doesn't he care anymore? Why doesn't he let me in? I'm just trying so hard to let us become friends. But all that does is let us drift away. What's wrong with me? As the tears start to flow even more. I don't know what to tell you, Sakura, but from what I've seen, Naruto-kun is always trying to get you to look at him for a while now. But, well, things seem to change about that. Sasuke-kun doesn't seem like you'll ever change. He wants his revenge. And you need to get yourself stronger. That's the most you can do now. Sakura nodded. It was really time for a change. Meanwhile, Anko was currently training a private grown away from the village's eyes. She was working on a guitar that she somewhat got from the mark, from her time on Naruto alone, as that brought a happy smile to her face, and she would want to next go sometime, well, soon. And it was strange. She was happy. She was with someone that truly cared for her, even though he was younger than her. It was wonderful. As she continued to train, she felt someone coming as she stopped. Hey, Korchan, she said. What brings you by? Kurenai paused. Anko has changed a lot. Even her voice sounded a bit more mature. If it's true then, Naruto really did bring something with her that she never knew existed. Well, while she have changed, she was still that immature girl she knew, that she called her best friend. I just came by to see how you were doing, after the whole change thing you underwent. You like it? Said Anko as she turned. Naruto-kun picked out for me. He says that in order for me to become a chosen amongst his future brides, that I will have to start out brand new. Nothing in my past had to follow my future. He says my attitude is just part of my charm as well. As Kurna looked over the guitar, she really had to know. Uncle-chan, why are you with him anyway? What does he have that another man doesn't? He's not like any other guy we knew in this village. You should know that after what Asuma did. As Kurna stiffened a bit, and Uncle knew why. She and Asuma dated secretly 2 years, and looked like they were ready to go to the next level. Or at least that was how Kurna saw it. When she found that Asuma was cheating on her, when she found the two in the apartment that they share, she immediately threw him out of the house and broke up with him on the spot. That was why she never stood beside him in certain joining meetings. Look, Kurna, if you want a good guy, don't be so quick to judge man in the village like other females do. Try someone like Guy, Yamato, or maybe even Naruto, Kurna said, cutting her off. Well, yeah, said Uncle. I guess you would count as one of them. But if you want to get with him, you will have to do a lot to do so. Thanks for the advice, said Uncle. Well, I'll see you later. He likes to be surprised, Uncle said. Wait, what? Said Kurna. Just make sure you talk with him first and hang out with him, and see what happens. Who knows, he could be the next girl on his list. Wait, what are you talking about, said Kurna. Uncle simply smiled as Kurna walked away, as she wondered, maybe she should look outside the box for once. Meanwhile, with Naruto. As Naruto's current self is mind skate the same room that he fought his clones in, but it had changed. The room was a radiant gold color. After the fusion that he undertook with his clones, he could feel his power growing, but nothing truly changed within him. He felt the same as before, but different at the same time. So what was this feeling he was having? It's your demonic blood, your ascension reacting to your body, master, said Nevin, as she entered the room. Naruto was puzzled by her being here. He didn't even tell the Kyuubi that he was here. Nevin walked up as she wrapped her arms on his waist, as she went behind him. It's your scent, she said, she took in a smell of him. That is what alerted me to your presence here, as she started to kiss his neck. But how? I can't even smell, said Naruto. You can't, it's your pheromones that are alerting me to you. They are coming off of you so powerful, like rushing water. Your ascension is currently undertaken, and your power output is expanding. But I can't sense it at all, so how do you know it's there? You're not supposed to. It's only used by demons to attract potential mates from a crowd, be it male or female. Some demons are able to direct their pheromones towards one person to make that person get enticed even more. You have control over yours now, but you must be extremely careful when you enter your ascension in front of girls. If that were to happen and you let it slip, you will find yourself being ravished by females from all over. Another thing, master, your demonic side will have a bit more influence over you to make you cause more destruction than usual, and also your sex drive will increase as well. But that is the fun part, she said. There's also other things that you will develop through this ascension, she said. So tell me, said Naruto as he looked around, is this supposed to be my excess chakra? Yes, master, this is all the power that your body is itching to release. It seems like all you will need is one thing. And what would that be? A trigger, said Nevin. The next day, as Naruto and Shizune were racing to find Tsunade, they were attacked by Orochimaru and Kabuto. As Shizune needed his help, Tsunade had chased after them, moving fast as three of them shot towards the outskirts of the village. He promised to bring back her loved ones if she healed his arm. As Zuri landed down beside the two, as they charged as fast as they could. With Tsunade, she brought her leg down. Boom! The two men had to leap away. Kabuto marveled at the freakish strength, while Orochimaru simply narrowed his eyes. Tsunade hopped out of the crater as she cracked her knuckles. I can't tell you how much I've been willing to knock your teeth down your throat. As she removed her green jacket, as she dashed forward, as she had her fist cut back. Both of them leap away at the last moment as her fists connected with the ground, creating another sizable crater. Orochimaru looked back up. Tsunade was already in front of him, wasting no time, as her fist connected in his face. He felt like he just stopped a boulder with his face. He skidded along the ground before flipping to his feet. She rushed forward only for Kabuto to slice his hand and appear in front of her, as he splashed the blood on her. The second the blood touched her, her entire body froze up in shock. Her whole momentum was stopped, as her hand started to tremble in fear, as she saw her loved ones on the ground trembling and dying, and she couldn't do anything to stop it. No, she was the one trembling, as she watched them die slowly, and she couldn't save them. The two Konoha traitors are now basking in the glory of this light. She just went from a speeding bull to a scared little kitten within seconds. Look at you, Tsunade. So unbecoming of a Sanin. It's no wonder why you're the weakest of a tree. And today, you shall join your loved ones Kabuto, take care of her quickly, but don't damage her body too much. Her senjutsu blood will make very great experiments proceed. Kabuto nodded as he approached Tsunade with a kunai in hand, as he raised it and brought it down. But the kunai was blown out of his hand, as he then turned to see Naruto in mid-air with Angel. As Naruto pulled out Reaper and fired off several more wind bullets, forcing him to leap back before they hit him. As Naruto went down along with Jiraiya and Shizune, as Shizune quickly went to Tsunade's aid. As Naruto looked towards Tsunade and sighed, before he turned towards the two traitors, that homophobic can be a real bitch in battle. I can see the both of you are such cowards you have to play on a person's weakness. Naruto said to Kabuto stepping up with his smug smirk on his face. It matters not what you think, Naruto-kun, because you shall soon be dead. You should know when you're going up against someone against your league. Kabuto had to leap back, he had to dodge several more bullets. You talk too much, said Naruto. Kabuto, stop playing around. Take care of that boy once and for all, while I take care of Jiraiya. I'll kill Tsunade myself when this is all said and done. As Orochimaru and Jiraiya looked at each other, Kabuto smirked as he brought out two kunais and held them in front of his body. Naruto brought up Reaper and fired off one round. Kabuto dodged and shot forward towards Naruto, his arms behind him holding onto the kunais. Kabuto twists and sliced towards Naruto's vein, but Naruto leaned back. Before pointing his gun forward, Kabuto had to leap away as he landed. Fast. As Naruto twists his hands, bam, 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 Kabuto had to leap and dodge as one of them grazed his chin, as blood exploded from the tip. He touched his chin, powerful as well. He came back to Naruto as he swiped towards Naruto's leg. Naruto simply flipped. As he looked straight down at Kabuto, Kabuto looked up to see him, their eyes fully locked. Time to die, said Naruto as he brought up his hand. Kabuto's eyes widened as he tried to twist. Said Naruto. You're not that fast. Bam, bam. The two ripped through Kabuto's eye socket and burst to the back of his head. But Kabuto's body poofed away as something stabbed Naruto in the back. As he saw Kabuto behind him with the kunai. I told you I was out of your league, said Kabuto. And I told you were out of mine. Snake lover. Great clone explosion. Kabuto's eyes wide as Naruto exploded. Naruto smirked as he saw the Konoha traitor being consumed in the smoke. Kabuto will take damage, but that would not kill him. Indeed, as Kabuto stepped out, smoke coming from his body, with his glass all fogged up. Look at you, Kabuto. Now you truly are what I know you are. A flamer, said Naruto. That caused Shizune to laugh, as Tsunade slowly looked up her head to look towards the fight. You know, Naruto-kun, I'm gonna enjoy killing you. I'm gonna enjoy seeing the light leave your eyes, while I dissect your body for future experiments. As he rushed through hand signs, as chakra formed on his hands as he activated chakra scalpels. Come, said Naruto, as Naruto made the spines on his back come off of him, as they float in mid-air. As Naruto fired several bullets from Reaper, as his spines did the same, Kabuto shot forward, as he twisted and leaped and dodged the blast of the bullets. He landed back on his feet and came towards Naruto, moving incredibly fast. Kabuto sent multiple strikes as he appeared towards Naruto's heart, as Naruto blocked away each and every one of them. As Naruto then dropped his body down low, the spines fired off wind attacks, forcing Kabuto to leap, but one of them ripped through his side as he cursed in pain as he dropped to the ground. He quickly pivoted on his foot, dodging several other wind attacks as they ripped through the earth. As Naruto started to blast at Kabuto, but he kept on dodging each and every one of them. Naruto started to get tired of this as he got an idea on what to do. As he brought out Devil Bringer as he rushed towards Kabuto. Kabuto was caught off guard by a sudden burst of speed. He twisted and tried to get a jab at Naruto's heart, as Naruto grabbed his arm and held him still. As Naruto brought out his hand, a Rasengan started to form, but this was infused by the power of Devil Bringer, turning it into a celestial blue. Say hello and goodbye, Devil Bringer Rasengan. As Naruto drive his arm forward towards Kabuto's chest, only for Kabuto to twist his chest at the last moment, as Naruto smirked before tilting his hand as he shot it towards Kabuto's head. Kabuto's eyes went wide as he tried to move, but Naruto's grip was too tight. Boom! His head exploded from the force. Tsunade was in shock that Naruto had mastered Rasengan to that degree. He was truly amazed that she now knew she truly lost her fight against him. He had weapons that she never saw before, and it seems like he was holding back in their fight, as he never used to kill. It appears she lost another bet, but this time it didn't feel like she lost anything. Both Orochimaru and Jiraiya looked over. Jiraiya smirked. Orochimaru's top lackey was now dead, as Orochimaru wasn't so pleased. That boy killed Kabuto. He decimated a large portion of his army, and the brat was only 14 years old. He needed to die and fast before he became a problem. As he shot forward the snake with a sword in his mouth coming out, Tsunade cried out Naruto's name, As Orochimaru was about to stab him, Naruto turned and grabbed the blade with his demonic arm. Orochimaru looked on in shock, only for Tsunade's fist to connect with his jaw. He was thrown violently as he crashed. "Do you truly believe I would just allow you to kill me?" said Naruto. Orochimaru cursed. "Hear this well, boy. When I return, your power will either be mine or you will be dead." As he looked over, he couldn't win here. He fused to the ground and went away. As Naruto flexed his arms, he returned back normal. As he turned towards Tsunade, "Looks like this is that job." Naruto suddenly coughed, as his heart was beating unnaturally before he fell down in pain. Everything went black. The last thing he heard was Tsunade crying out his name along with Shizune, and Jiraiya crying out his name as well. 3 days later, as Naruto woke up with a groan, wondering what the hell happened. Whatever the hell that was, he never wanted to go through that again. "Kid, you should be glad those 2 medics were there, or most likely, you'd have been dead." Naruto grabbed his chest. "What the hell happened to me?" "That Kabuto kid used a ninjutsu on you before you killed him. It didn't take effect because you were having the adrenaline rush through you, but once the fight came to an end, it affected you." "So, I'm not gonna die?" said Naruto. "No, you'll be just fine. Lucky those 2 women were there." "You should know, Master. Those 2 ladies want to meet with you." Naruto turned towards Nevin. "What? But how?" "When you went out, you lost control of your pheromones. And I told you it was going to be bad. The blonde one was already a bit attracted to you, but now it turned to full-blown sexual desire." "You mean I'm gonna have to have sex with her?" "It seems like you have to, or eventually, she will hunt you down, and eventually you have to do it." "That cousin of yours did the same thing on that sound girl, and her desire was not quelled until they did it. In truth, no matter what you do, you're stuck with them," said the Kyuubi. As the Kyuubi knew firsthand how it was like to lose control of her pheromones, as Tsunade had felt for him when he lost control one time, when she was nearby. When they went off, she came to him like a moth to a flame. "Huh," said Naruto as he lied back down. "You actually shouldn't feel too bad, kid. This could be more of a positive than negative. She could keep Uncle in line when you're not around, and she could run the house whenever you're on missions." Naruto was about to laugh, but the door opened up. He was alone in the room as Tsunade came in. The both of them now alone, as she had a smirk on. "That was quite the scare you gave us, kid. How are you holding up?" As Naruto noticed her necklace was no longer on her neck. "I have been through worse, but how are you feeling? Are you ready to go back?" Naruto asked. She nodded as her hand started to creep a bit closer to his leg. What are you doing?" said Naruto. "What do you think I'm doing?" she asked. "Well, I don't know, but I'm not sure you do either." As Naruto was about to move, she pinned his arms down to the bed. "Look, Naruto-kun, I know that we agree. If you win our fight, I'll go back to the village with you. But I want to add something else within that." Naruto gulped. "And what would that be?" She lowered herself until she was near his ear. "It's another fight, but a different kind than the usual battle. If you win, not only would I return to the village with you, but I'll even agree to become one of your future wives. If I win, I still come back, but I get you all to myself for a week." "But what about Shizune? Wouldn't she feel left out?" said Naruto, even though he knew she would have done the same thing if she had the opportunity. "I suppose she can get on this as well, but you'll have to go through me first." Naruto sighed. "He's afraid he won't escape this. Might as well enjoy it." Time skip later on. Naruto and the group now stood in front of Hiruzen, who probably just drank his 30th drink. He knew never to underestimate Naruto, but this took the cake. Not only did he have sex with Tsunade, but she was back to her age of 30. Plus, to make matters more stressful, she agreed to become one of his future wife. She also said that Shizune was on this as well, as Hiruzen wished that he had used a seal instead of Minato. He was getting too old for this shit. "Okay then, I suppose you're going to be moving into his home." Tsunade nodded. "Very well then. I need to discuss something with you, Naruto." Naruto turned his way. Recently, it came to us that 2 girls were seen entering a land known as Amazon Country. A country that is full of women that despise man. They respect those that seem to earn it though. It has also been rumored that 2 girls going there are Jinchurikis. I'm surprised by this. Has Akatsuki been given any word by this? "The Akatsuki is dead," Hiruzen said. Naruto's eyes widened. "But how? Who could kill 9 S-class shinobi?" said Jiraiya. "It's unsure at this point, but seeing that you were achieved in Tsunade, you couldn't have known. But what we have found out is, all are dead except 2. One of the survivors were Kisame. It seems like he was going to Kumo for the 2 tails, but she was missing, so he went after the 8 tails. The end result was him being decapitated by the Raikage and the vessel of the 8 tails, who took control of his blade after he was decapitated." "So, what will happen now?" said Naruto. "I have no idea, but all you need to know is that you're safe. I want you to rest up while we sort this whole thing out." As Naruto started to leave the room, while Tsunade gave him a kiss in motion, as Shizune winked at him. "Now, Tsunade," said Hiruzen, "what do you say about becoming Hokage?" 3 days later, as Naruto was curled in the forest of death, as he was wearing a white shirt and black shorts, as he's been training himself like crazy. He needed to continue, his power has been increasing, and he needed to control it. He knew that if it was ever to go wild, it would screw him up tremendously if he wasn't able to control it. The Kyuubi suggested that he work on his chakra control for now. He will need to control his chakra first, so when the Ascension team, he'll be ready for it. He then heard footsteps as he turned to see Anko walking towards his location, without her glasses. She saw that he was working hard as she could see the sweat glistening off his skin. "How you holding up?" she said. Naruto took a swig from his water bottle as he sighed. "It's still challenging, but I'll need to do a lot more work before improving myself." "Oh, okay," she said, before looking around. "You know, this place is great for privacy. In fact, you can scream as loud as you want. But if you're not in here, you will never hear it." "And what would have caused someone to scream so loud?" said Naruto. "Do you have any idea in mind?" Anko smirked as she made her way forward as she kissed him, not mind that he was sweating, as it made him look so manly, rough, and guff, like someone that can throw her around and have their way with her. Well, she was not so kind herself, as she grabbed his shirt and ripped it. As Naruto looked down, "Oh, sorry, I guess I was bad." "Well," said Naruto, "bad girls do need spanking." "Oh yes they do," she said. Time skip. 2 weeks later, Tsunade Senju, along with Sarutobi, was looking through the window, while the Hokage clones did all the works. On the first day of the job, Tsunade was done with it all when she saw the paperwork, but Naruto told her about the clones. As she made a clones work on the paperwork, while she herself read through the important documents. Hiruzen, given his old age, never thought of that. And Naruto did that for her. He felt like he wanted to strangle Naruto within his sleep, as Naruto had simply smirked at him, to infuriate him even more. "So tell me, Tsunade, how does it feel to be back in the village?" "It feels funny kind of a way. Every time I thought of this place, only hate and disgust would arise. Before I drink steak and got rid of that memory. But now I feel closer to my roots and my ancestors in the village. Plus, it's awesome I have my youth back." "Yes, extremely," says Sarutobi. As Sarutobi should be in his late 60s or probably going on to 70s, but the man looked younger. As Tsunade had found out that Naruto blood has some incredible healing rate, as she experimented with something a bit, trying something out, and it actually worked. As she made a special healing jutsu that could restore the human body bones, structure, cells, blood, and even aging. As Hiruzen got at least 40 years of his youth back. She also did it on Jiraiya, as the man was like 20 years younger now. Their youth being returned back to them because of Naruto's special blood. She herself, well, she did it on herself as well. They declare this a triple S Kinjutsu that would only be passed down through Tsunade's family. Once, she joined Naruto once they got married. Naruto was also there, despite not saying anything, as Anko, Kurenai, and Lee was by his side. "Okay then everyone, as I'm sure you're all wondering why you're here. The reason being, you are all going on a mission together." As Naruto looked around along with Lee, Tenten wasn't here. "But Hokage-sama, where's Tenten?" "I thought she'd be here as well," said Lee, as they have already gone on 3 missions together. They were used to their combination. Tenten is currently on a separate mission with Neji, Sakura, and Guy. They won't be back for a while, so I think that Kurenai will be a great substitution for your group. Besides, where you guys are going, you will need all the female help you can get. The boys look confused first, and then the women's. What does being female have to do with this mission? I'm sure you guys are confused by the statement, so let me be brief with this. The reason being, you all shall be going through the Amazon country to find the 2 Jinchurikis females that fled there. With the current threat of Akatsuki killer roaming the area, I think we need to bring them to protect them here properly. Amazon country, said Naruto, as in we hate the stick, but love the slide. That Amazon country? Tsunade nodded. You guys are to leave ASAP. Each of them had a different thought in their head. Uncle, I'm going to a place where lesbians are a common thing. Good thing I changed my style of clothing, or it will literally be ripped off me. As the image of woman ripping off her skirt, jacket and everything made her shake in fear. But a part was a bit excited. That parting back for mine way back. I wish Kin-chan could come with me. I hear that place is the most beautiful forest to get laid in, Lee thought, as Kurenai was glancing towards Naruto. What Uncle said really got into her head as she glanced towards him. Damn, she said, as it was really messing with her head. You know, this is gonna be like hell, said Naruto. Well, it kinda is, said Kurama. I mean, all girls. And sometimes you do some things that piss them off. Imagine all of them trying to kill you. Yeah, I don't want to imagine that, said Naruto. But besides, you see that hut or that one over there? You know that she's been eyeing you, right? Yeah, I noticed that, said Naruto. Well, she's the one Uncle has been talking about, her friend. Do you really think I have a shot with her, said Naruto. Of course you do. I can feel it already when you go near her. That scent of arousal. But she have a bit of doubt, so you just have to push it forward to where she submit to you. Well, she's hot, said Naruto, as he bit his thumb and summoned his dragon. Oyasha, said Naruto, would you mind taking me and my friend and these two beautiful women behind me? As Kurenai found herself blushing, as Uncle blushed as well. The dragon lowered himself as the three of them hopped on. As Naruto flipped on top of his head, as the dragon, after Naruto told him to go to Amazon country, left off. Meanwhile, with Sasuke, as he knew that Sakura will come by soon enough, as he really didn't want to deal with her crap today, as this place was really not giving him what he wanted, as he doesn't have the power to do anything at the moment. He needed to leave this place to gain right power to destroy his brother. I see your current predicament is not right for you, Sasuke-san. Sasuke looked up. Sasuke saw the room was getting darker and darker by the second, before it was pitch black completely. A figure stepped from the shadows, a large cloak on. As Sasuke saw the handle of a blade, the man had dark eyes as he had on his hood. Who are you, Sasuke said. My name is Sodeki Kazuma, Devil of the Hidden Myths, and last remaining original member of 7 Ninja Swordsmen. What do you want, Sasuke said. The man walked around the room as he noticed a basket of apples on the table, as he picked one up and bit down into it. Just something about red apples that always attract my taste buds. As he shoved the whole fruit in his mouth and swallowed it whole. The reason for my appearance is simple, my boy. I wish to give you an invitation. What kind of invitation, said Sasuke. The man swallowed another apple. It's nothing major really, but I see you're in need of great power, which is something I can provide you with. I want you to join my army. After all, I see so much potential in you. You may even take over the elemental nations as its king, with the amount of potential you have. And what would I do to get to that level, said Sasuke. I need your help to get someone out of my way for the moment, because they will disrupt my plan, and you can really give me that much power. Of course. What do I have to do, said Sasuke. Sasuke walked over, as he placed an arm on Sasuke's neck where the curse mark was. All will be explained in due time. Sasuke cried out in pain as the man transferred his chakra into Sasuke's body. All you need to do now is rest your body. We'll get used to devil chakra soon enough. Sasuke then sank into the shadows, and the room then cleared back once up again. What Sasuke didn't see was a pulsing red mark on his neck that was glowing a dark red color now. Something was certain, whatever Sasuke did to him, it will soon come out. But guys, be ending right here. For once the next part, to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share all of your friends in your social media platform, and go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Had a Dream that will change everything. And over on Anime Making 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Awakened Yellow Rinnegan after his exile. So go ahead and enjoy that, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all for your help and your support. And yeah, I'm off now. See you guys very soon. Well, tomorrow. Peace.